Hello, Nolan West here. Since we just had our school board elections at the beginning of this month, I thought it would be an ideal time to go over who decides what's in your kid's curriculum at school. Is it the feds, the state, the school board, the superintendent? This is something I didn't know much about when I was first elected, but since then, I've learned a lot, and I'll share what I've learned so far with you. First, the federal government does not mandate any curriculum, but they do mandate that states adopt standards and administer assessments in certain subject areas like math, reading, science, social studies. And this is a good thing. The last thing we want is for our curriculum to be determined federally. I mean, other states shouldn't have any say in how we educate our kids here in Minnesota. And so this leads us to what we do on the state level. The state also does not mandate any curriculum. We have to comply with federal law and adopt standards, but the state has a lot of latitude in determining what those standards are. And the commissioner of the Minnesota Department of Education can adopt new standards, but they have to go through a rulemaking process. And rulemaking is essentially making new rules within statute that's already been set by the legislature. So a change in the standards doesn't need to go through the legislature, but it does need to go through the rulemaking process. And that's where they take public input on proposed changes. And this whole process takes about a year. And the standards are reviewed every 10 years to make sure that they still make sense. And now it falls to the school board. It's the school board's job to determine what the curriculum for their district will be. This is why it's important to pay attention to what your school board is doing and vote in these off-year elections. The board takes the standards set by the state and chooses a curriculum that meets those standards. They also determine how they will assess students' progress in those areas. So your local school board really is what determines what your kids are taught in school. And that's a good thing. School board members are some of the closest elected officials to the people. You can get elected to the school board with less than 1,000 votes. So school boards are naturally very responsive to the concerns of their constituents. And if you're ever interested in what's going on in your kid's school, connect with your local school board. They have access to all the information you could need, and they have the power to make a change if you see something wrong. The fact that the school board has the final say in curriculum does not stop some folks at the state level from trying to mandate new curriculum. Issues from comprehensive sex education to shop class have all been pushed at the state level down to the school boards, but they have failed. We need to keep our curriculum at the local level. If we start messing with it at the state level, politics will inevitably infect the process, and the conversation will revolve on that, not what's best for our kids. Keeping curriculum at the local level gives parents as much control over their kids' education as possible, and that's a good thing because raising children isn't the government's responsibility, it's the parents. And I hope you found this video informative. Let me know if you have any questions or if you want some other area of state government covered that you'd like to know more about. And thanks for listening.